Coming up, we'll be joined by Roland Lescure, the French Economics and Finance Minister, an economist by trade and a very close ally of the French President Emmanuel Macron. Minister Lescure previously served as Industry Minister and chaired the National Assembly's Economic Affairs Committee. He's in Brussels today for talks with finance ministers from all across the bloc, so we're thrilled to have you here in the studio to give us a little insight into what's going on in that meeting before you head over. I imagine the impact the war in Iran and the Middle East is having on our economy here is kind of overshadowing the talks today. Are you preparing for a potential recession?
Well, we're not there yet. Both France and, in a way, the European economies have proven quite resilient. As you know, we're not exposed directly to the crisis in the sense that there was no volume issue. We still got oil, we still got gas, we still got fertilizers. But the fact that some of the oil that was flowing is not flowing anymore to Asia has risen the prices. And obviously, this has had an impact on our consumers. You know, the oil tanks have been more expensive to fill and everything. So we've had a slow first half, for sure.
But you're not in panic mode yet. You're not preparing measures yet.
I mean, panic mode doesn't really serve any purpose. So what we've done is we've targeted measures that are tailored, temporary, to the people who are in need, the people who are mostly affected, people who travel a lot for their work, truck drivers, farmers, and we've tailored them. We've made sure that it didn't have a major impact on public finance, which is my job. And so far, so good. I think the economy has been resilient. But we need a recovery. I think that hopefully the short-term volatility that we've seen over the last couple of days will be over soon, and hopefully will be, again, taken the route towards more negotiations, more peace, and then a better economy, which is very important.
And as you say, we need a recovery. We've seen some interesting proposals by the Spanish government this week. They're proposing a new joint EU debt instrument worth up to 850 billion euros. Carlos Corpo, the Spanish Ministry for the Economy, he's also in Brussels, and he spoke yesterday to our Maria Today. Let's just take a listen to what he had to say, and then I'd love to get your reaction.
Spain is actually making a pitch or a proposal to centralize part of the national issuances within the Commission, within a specific facility that can help, without increasing the total level of debt, to reduce fragmentation and therefore reduce costs and integrate further our national markets, our national financial and capital markets. And that would, at the same time, as I said, reduce also costs for our firms. So it's a win-win situation, which we hope to discuss with our colleagues right now.
So what's your view from France here? Is it a win-win situation? Would you support this?
Well, it's an interesting proposal because, as you know, usually people advocate more common debt on top of national debt. What Carlos Corpo is advocating is for some of the national debts to be pooled and then auctioned on the market and then lent back to the countries. So it's an interesting proposal that solves some of the issues that usually debt on top of debt can address. There's one issue that concerns me. I've talked to Carlos about it, and we need to study it further. It's the moral hazard. You know, the fact that if one country transfers the debt to the whole community, that might be an incentive for that country to take more debt. So we'll have to see. But one thing is for sure. We need euro to be even stronger, even deeper, and more liquid than it is today. And the main factors behind that, to have the euro as a top-of-the-notch global currency, we need more competitiveness, we need capital market union, we need the whole packet. And it's not just by transferring debt that we're going to manage that, but we do need, as I said, to reassure the world that, yes, they can safely lend money to the Eurozone and get it back.
And you saw we had that interview with the ECB President, Christine Lagarde. I mean, she's fixated as well with the capital market union. When will we ever have this? When will it become a reality? She's
fixated and I'm obsessed. I think you're Irish, right?
Yes.
We have a great Irish presidency starting. It started yesterday for the Ecofin. It starts today, actually. And I believe I had talk with Simon Harris, who's not chairing the Ecofin Council. He's really willing to nip it in the bud between now and the end of the year.
Will they manage, though? That's a challenge.
Well, that's what I'm going to say today. We need to do everything we can, both to have a deal and to have an ambitious deal, because there's no way we should water it down.
And there's a lot they want to get done before next year, because, of course, big elections taking place in your country. Yeah. How will they play out?
Tell me. I don't know. It's a year away. There's still a lot of uncertainty. You know, it's going to be an interesting election, and as you said, very important for France and for Europe. I started running, I was in a completely different world 10 years ago because we had a candidate that put the European flag in all his meetings. I do believe strongly that Europe is part of the solution, not part of the problem. We have two extremes that think otherwise.
Could it be up one extreme against the other?
Well,
Could that be the final ticket?
everything I can to make sure we avoid that scenario. There's a big central bank in France. We need to find the right candidate to carry the flag. But I'm convinced that the absolute majority of French people want progress, want order, want unity, and we just have to make sure we convince them that there's the right person to carry that flag.
And just final congrats on the football. Who's going to win the World Cup?
Thank you. Well, if I didn't tell you, France should be disappointed, right? I think we have a great team, but soccer, football is such that anything can happen between now and
We're keeping a close eye on it. Minister, thank you
allez
so
les
much.
bleus, allez les bleus.
Thank you so much for coming into us today.